Okay, here we are, January 26th. Just wanted to give another quick update. We are, as a team, we passed 3,000 miles. We officially hit the goal last night, so pretty exciting. And fundraising wise, we're still right around 3,300. So again, thank you for everybody's generosity. Today, I've got Kevin St. Laurent. He's actually the 10th out of 10 teammates to go through this interview process. And we want to check in with him and ask a little bit about Winter Warriors and kind of Kevin's claim to fame is he's got a big run streak, which is incredibly impressive, and it sort of embodies the whole Winter Warrior thing. So Kevin, you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your streak?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on, Matt. So I'm Kevin St. Laurent, originally from Newmarket, finally left Newmarket and now live in Stratham with some of the other crazy Seacoast Long Run Group guys. My claim to fame, as you say, I guess, is I have a pretty decent run streak going on of about 2,370 something days, which is just under 6.5 years.
6.5 years, okay, that registers.
Averaging about 7 miles a day that whole time. And that's me.
Yeah, so why did you start this, or did you know you were starting the run streak? How did that come about?
So it started for a few reasons. I used to lack motivation a lot in my running after high school. So what I would find myself doing would be like I'd train pretty hard for a while and then just like completely lose motivation due to weather or personal life or just being busy, stuff like that. So way back in like 2010, 2011, maybe, I did my very first run streak, which was, I don't remember which month it was, but I set out like, I'm going to run every single day for whatever month that was. And I did that. And I just remember that I had raced a 5K right before that little run streak in like 1850 something, which was okay for me at the time. And then I raced another 5K right after that run streak, and I ran exactly a minute faster. And I was like, all right, this is like, just shows results. I never really thought about it as like I wanted a run streak that would last like forever. But I just kept doing those like 1 month run streaks every once in a while, and they kind of like helped. Like I'd do the month and then I'd start training up again. I'd be super motivated and, would run like 28 or 29 days in a month, but not like an actual streak. And then I'd lose motivation again. I'd do another one. And then 1 year I did like 3 months in a row. And then in 2014, I was really lacking motivation to run. So it was August 1st, 2014 that I started this run streak. And the goal was to just run every day in August. The goal was, it was mostly for me. There's a secondary reason for the run streak that I didn't share for a long time, but I have now, so I have no problem sharing it now. Was that I have an aunt, or had an aunt, who was a professional runner in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and she was in the final stages of pancreatic cancer at that time. And I kind of was just like running for her, just still with the same goal of just every day in August, and then to, probably take September 1st off. But she ended up passing away on August 31st, which is interesting timing. And then September 1st, which also happens to be my birthday, I was just like, like I have to run today. Like I'm not going to have the first day off be the day after she passes away. So I just ran, and then I haven't taken a day off since.
Here we are forever later.
Here we are 6.5 years later.
Yeah.
I was a young 26-year-old back then. So.
And I mean, obviously, we've been on the same Winter Warrior team, I think, for a couple of years now. You're always kind of a ringer because we know no matter what, you're going to get your mileage in and stuff. Yeah. Most of us aspire to run almost every day, but due to like injuries or whatever else, we're taking time off. Like I personally, I usually take like 1 day a month off.
Yep.
unless I'm Winter Warriors or unless I'm like terribly injured. But the injuries are usually what slows most of us down. Talk a little bit
Absolutely.
about. I know you're going through some stuff now. We'll talk a little bit about
Yeah.
that in a bit. But like, so I know you ran through like a high ankle sprain. Was that 2 years ago? We talked about some of the injuries.
That was like my first actual injury of my running streak, which, as I was talking to you earlier about, was super fortunate. I basically went almost 4 years without even like a minor injury. But yeah, 2018, I was out on a run on the rail trail, which is my basically my home, and just an easy, casual run. It was dusk. I'd worked that whole day at a race, so I think my legs were just like, super flat, super tired. Wasn't paying attention and kind of just like hit a rock or a root or something wrong, and just like heard like the loudest pop ever and just went down, and just like, oh man. And foolishly, I did run the next day, if you can call it running. It was more of a hobble, but kept the streak going then. But yeah, speaking of current injuries, I've basically after 2018, I didn't have any more injuries. All of 2019, most of 2020, I was injury free up until August, and I have now run into the situation where, as happens to a lot of runners and other athletes, where you get an injury on one side of your body, you kind of work with that, and then you think you're healed up, but during that time, you're putting much more stress on the other half of your body, that an injury starts to happen on that side of your body. Um, so that's kind of just what I'm dealing with right now.
Sciatica, right? So like nerve.
Yeah, it was initially a hip thing, and then on my left side, and then that caused, I think, is what caused my right side was obviously overcompensating for that for a number of weeks, and then sciatic issues on my right side, and then that completely went away about 6 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, with no warning, I'm now having sciatic issues on my left side.
Yeah.
So not really. This one came out of nowhere, so it's a little more frustrating.
Yeah.
Just because I told myself like, hey, if you see an injury coming, like take it easy, and like I was feeling like just a little sore from the increase in mileage for Winter Warriors, but was overall good, and then literally just went on a run on last Thursday, and just like was in pain in the second half, and then finished the run and drove home and like couldn't walk, and I was like, okay, well, that's not good. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll resolve. These things can be mysterious, as you know, like
Yeah.
injuries come and go. And this is that I've had sciatica as well, and it was a tough go for a little bit. But for people who don't know, the way it works with Winter Warriors, obviously you have to do a mile per day or more.
Yeah.
If you miss a day, your miles for the month are basically subtracted for the team total. So that's a little extra incentive for Kevin to keep going. Not like he was going to stop anyway, but
Exactly.
if we saw that drain, I think we'd lose what 250 miles, something like that, or 270.
I mean, I hit 200 miles. I was pretty much averaging just under 10 a day as the course sweeper for our team. Uh, but yeah, I pretty much hit 200 like on the 20th of the month, and have only run like 15 miles since, unfortunately. But
It is what keeping it going. I appreciate that.
yeah,
Any thoughts
yeah.
of shutting it down even after January?
Not at the moment. No, I have. I'm not gonna lie. I have thought about it the last couple of days, just because of this injury is really, really bugging me. But I think I'm just gonna keep going. The qualifications for a run streak are you have to run at least 1 mile per day. My personal qualifications are a little more strict than that, where my minimum is really a 5K unless I'm injured. Um, and there's only been about a dozen runs in the 6.5 years that have been under 5K. But my like final, like if I'm really, really in a bad spot type thing, I do have that option of running just a mile to keep going, but I haven't had to resort to that. And then, barring like an actual broken bone or something insane like that, I think you can pretty much run a mile under any conditions, really, like if I had to. So,
Hopefully. I know you've run through flus and all kinds of stuff. I mean,
yeah,
obviously we keep in touch a lot outside of this, but even like
yeah,
with Strava and stuff, and there've been some runs with high temperatures, and
yeah.
it kind of comes with the territory, I guess.
One run where I kind of couldn't stand up completely, so I called my mom and was like, "Hey, I'm going for a run. I don't. If you don't hear from me in a half an hour, please go look for me."
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
yeah,
it's
that
the
was probably not too smart either.
yeah, it's the kind of stuff most people can't relate to. I get it. I mean, running just kind of becomes like a part of us instead of what we want to do. It's not like a burden for us to go out there and run. It's just life basically. So anyway, hopefully you'll take care of this one, go easy, and it'll be one of those things
Yep.
that seriously like resolves itself and you can kind of get back after it. So
Yeah, hopefully.
cool. All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So, we're doing this for the Chase Children's Home in Portsmouth.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on why is that important? Why does that feel good?
I mean, it's a great cause to me. To be honest, before all this, I really knew almost nothing about Chase Children's Home. Shame on me. But also, it's hard to know every charity out there. But after looking into it a little bit, it just seems like such a great organization, especially this past year, and everything that's going to happen after this past year with kids that are already struggling. So I just think whatever we can do to help them a little bit is going to be great in the long term, because especially with this pandemic, there's years and years and years of um, just really upsetting and difficult times for a lot of people. So um, I think whatever we can do is just great.
Yeah, agreed. It's been fun to kind of have that sort of pushing the team out there. I mean, I always think about like even in their ideal circumstances, like in a pandemic, it's like it's hard for kids already and parents.
Yeah.
Some of these kids got, all of them got a really tough hand. So hopefully,
And if you don't have like the escape of school and socializing as much as normal, like that can just make it
yeah.
extra difficult too. So
Yeah. So anyway, thanks again to everybody who's watching for donating into it. We really appreciate it. We're ways off our big goal, but definitely we appreciate the generosity, and it's been a good campaign. We got a few more days here till the end. I'm sure we'll do a few more of these. Probably not interviews, but we will keep in touch and keep going with the.
I mean, someone has to interview you.
Yeah, I don't know.
We have to
Yeah,
get Captain Sawyer.
I feel like I'm already tired of hearing myself talk, but we can figure something.
No, I want a full hour just you talking about just everything you've ever done.
We probably won't.
Top 100
What's that?
top 100 races, and Anthony can interview.
I know, totally make it about me. So, all right, well, thanks again for doing this, Kevin. I don't want to say rest up, because don't rest up. Keep grinding here for a few more days, and yeah, we'll keep in touch soon. I hope you feel better.
All right, thanks very much,
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Another update coming soon. See ya.